Hi guys, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Liz.
Welcome back to Dancing in the Kitchen. And today we have a fabulous guest with us, Ms. Amy Paffrath.
Yes, welcome.
Hi.
Amy is an amazing actress and she's a fellow mom. She and I met at our kids' preschool. And we are so happy to have you here today.
I'm so grateful to be here with you both.
Wonderful. So we're continuing our theme on recovery through food, focusing specifically on SIBO. And Amy has a SIBO recovery journey that she's going to share with us. But we have a few questions we want to dive into before we get started. So first off, Amy, you have an extensive background in acting, correct?
Yes, I would definitely consider myself a creative. I have been in front of the camera in many aspects, but also behind. But the majority of my career has been in TV hosting, shows on VH1, MTV, basically all the big networks. And currently, I just wrapped up a 5-year stint with Spectrum News, which was just my soul's work, which we'll talk about that a little bit later because that is parlaying into something else that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I've worked in front of the camera, also behind the camera creatively, writing, producing, and bringing shows much like what you're doing to fruition. So congratulations on your show. I think it's wonderful. And to talk about food and health is just such a great platform.
Amazing. Well, we're so happy to have you here. And yeah, that was one of the things that really stood out to me, this good news segment that you had on the local LA News Network. And what I just love about you and have loved since I've met you is Amy is a light in the world and she goes into the world to make the world a better place, and that you've used your platforms as a way to do that and to use your creativity to inspire and to educate and to do all of those things. So tell us a bit more about the good news segment. I remember you telling me about an urban garden, I think in South Central or Compton.
Yeah, you're talking about Ron Finley. Ron Finley is amazing. I love our city, first of all. Los Angeles is not my home, it's my chosen home. I've been here almost 20 years, and that segment was a love letter to the city. I loved having a scavenger hunt every week of trying to find the good because there's so much. And once you start pulling that thread, good people know more good people, and it just snowballed. And so I would be at one interview and I would hear about 5 other people and I would just be taking notes we'll follow up on these people and go interview them. So yeah, Ron Finley does an urban garden in the middle of Compton, and he has fruit trees, just reaching out to the community so that people can just eat fruit wherever they are. It's accessible, it's free. And it's just inspiring to know that normal people, everyday people, are making a big impact on people's lives. So I didn't grow up with the greatest of childhoods, and I think from darkness comes the light. That's why I seek the light so much, is because I don't always have a propensity towards being optimistic and positive. But I know that it's a daily action that I have to take, and that if I don't, I can kind of fall into some bad patterns. So that segment really kept me on track in a lot of ways and gave me the tools and also the resources to know where to go. I'm funneling it into a book now, and I'm going back through all this research, and I'm supporting all these businesses again, oh yeah, I should buy brownies from this company that I know is a woman that's running her own business. And so, I could go on forever about this, but it has just been such a joy to do that type of work and to show other people where to go, who to support. It's a big city. We can all get lost in the shuffle, but these are kind of vetted places that I think will warm your heart and make an impact on the community.
I love that. Yeah, just amplifying and directing people's attention to what's positive is so powerful. And you said, that it's a daily action, it's a choice that we make or we don't make of what are we going to focus on.
Yeah.
It is infectious, and you start to see it once you put it out there into the world that people do want good.
Mm-hmm.
They do want it.
You're so right. I mean, when I was even pitching this as a segment, they were well, where's the tension? Where's the conflict? And I was it can be without those. The conflict is leading up. It's the why we're doing this. There is conflict. Therefore, we seek to not have conflict.
Right.
There's even, Ember has a book that is Sesame Street, Wit and Wisdom, Monster Wit and Wisdom. And one of the things says, if news travels fast, make it good. We see so much bad news. We're inundated with the terrible things in the world. And I'm not saying to not know and to not be informed, but then also choose to take action in a positive way. Because if we are just drowning in the sorrows of the world, we are no good to one another, to ourselves, to make positive change. You can't do that from a place of despair. So I know that we need an alternative. This is when I was on Facebook. I'm not on it anymore because it just became very toxic. But people love sharing cute dog videos and cute cat videos. We need these moments of joy and levity. So I just thought, if I want this, other people want this. And I kept going at it until somebody told me yes. Yay. And that was Spectrum News. And I'm so grateful I got to do that for 5 years.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also feel like that ties in so well with our topic of mental health. And one of the questions I really like to ask our guests is, how does your creativity impact your mental health, and how does your mental health impact your creativity? And we've already heard a couple things in there that kind of tie into this, but I would love to just hear your thoughts on that question.
I mean, they go hand in hand, and I really learned this during the pandemic, which was just having art as an outlet, just for no other reason but to be creating something. Even with my sewing machine, just taking it out and making a pillowcase or making something just tangible with your hands. It brings me such joy and gets me out of my phone, my device, whatever might be sucking me into, again, the despairs of the world. The pandemic was crazy. We didn't know what was going on. We were worried about our health, and this was just a way that you could take a little bit of control. And so I realized how big of an impact that made on my mental health. And it's a great outlet for children. As we know, being mothers, we need to keep our spirits high for these kids. And I know how great of a tool it is for her when she's having a stressful day. So of course it's gonna be a good tool for me. So they really go hand in hand. Having a creative outlet supports my mental health, and being creative keeps me happy and in a good place of well-being.
I love that. Yeah, and I feel like that also kind of ties in then to like your SIBO recovery journey. And I'm curious how, one, you identified that you were struggling with SIBO, kind of what that looked like, and if that impacted your mental health, and if recovery also, improved that.
Oh my gosh, yes, I went down with SIBO. It's about to get a tiny bit graphic, because you have SIBO because for me, I was waking up in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., with nausea and diarrhea. And so I was like, this is not normal. This is by no means normal. It's nothing that I'm eating that could be causing this. So that was going on for a little bit until I actually took the breath test and then was officially diagnosed with SIBO. My manager actually had the same thing happen, and I heard from her journey that she did 3 years, 3 rounds of antibiotics, and I was like, I'm not gonna go down that road and be stuck in this cycle. So I went on a dietary discovery. I've also suffered from disordered eating in my past, so I do want to say that. I'm a person that will try new things and figure that out and latch on to that. Whether that's a symptom of my OCD and my need to control things, sometimes it's helpful because it allows me to adapt new diets easily. I can follow protocol very easily. I'm very diligent with it. So I went on a couple of different journeys. I wanted to do the East meets West approach instead of just throwing antibiotics on something. So I saw an acupuncturist who gave me a diet protocol that I followed for a while. It was giving me it helped a little bit, but then it wasn't completely clearing it. So I ended up taking the antibiotics. And then after that, I went on an even more holistic journey. I adopted a plant-based diet, which has really enormously helped me. I think getting a lot of fiber in my diet and just really changing how I look at protein consumption and getting that from bean sources and hemp hearts and all these different places. So I'm eating a wider variety of foods than I ever would have before. I thought this was gonna be so limiting, but it's actually opened up a whole new world. Like, you're shaking your head because you know.
Yeah, I know, and you are less prone to eating processed foods.
Yes.
I found. I was like, you were not in a box, but like you end up having to eat whole foods because that's the only thing that helps you and gives you relief.
Yes.
So yeah, it was like a win-win.
It is a win-win, and I have a soy allergy too, and I've learned that soy is hidden in everything. Xanthan gum, for instance, it's in a lot of things. We're talking about highly processed foods. It's an additive that a lot of times can contain soy, so you don't know. It's like a mystery ingredient. I have a soy sensitivity, which as a plant-based eater is also really a challenge.
Yes.
But it has made my journey a little bit more difficult, but also, very specific. I find that it eliminates decision fatigue. I now know there's less choices for me, which actually is good. It frees my brain up from trying to decide what's for dinner every night. It can be a little bit easier. We can stick to some go-to recipes and just play with ingredients and try to eat the rainbow, eat real food, and stay away from the processed stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that is like such a powerful journey. And I know you mentioned that to me at one point that you actually used antidepressants as part of your recovery journey. And
As did I.
As did you.
Oh,
Okay, I
interesting.
actually didn't know that either.
Yes.
Okay, so both. Do tell, Amy, please.
Yeah, so again, the East meets West approach. I went to this
Dance, 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 dance,